Hi, it's James from Hidden Depths Coaching. Yeah, I thought I would do a wee video clip. And this is one of the things that I think has really destroys so many people. And I actually call it the soul destroyer. And it's a thing called gossip. Right? Gossip is one of the things that destroys businesses, relationships, friendships, it destroys so much, and it's gossip, right? And I remember reading something from Socrates, right? The great Socrates. And somebody was trying to tell him something, and they were like, "Look, Socrates, I need to tell you this." And he says, "Well, before you tell me that," he says, "first of all, I need to ask you, is it true?" And the person says, "I'm sure it's true, yeah, I think it is true." He says, "All right, continue." He says, "Well, before you tell me, I need to ask you, is it kind?" And the person says, "No, I don't think it's kind." And then he says, "Well, is it really necessary?" And the person says, "No, come to think about it, it's not." And that was the way kind of Socrates discovered truth so much. Because he played on, if something's not true, kind or necessary, then why say it? And to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you something about gossip, right? And it might seem like it's harmless, right? But that's just because of where you are, right? Because gossip is by no means harmless, right? And I'm going to tell you what happens, right? Every time you talk about somebody, right? Every time you gossip about somebody, and you say that they're doing something, right? If it's not true, kind or necessary, right? So if you talk about somebody doing something, right? So you start gossiping about somebody who doesn't know what's going on, and you're talking shit about them, right? If you say something about them that inside you know is one, not true, two, not kind, and three, not necessary, then it's going to awake an effect inside you, right? But it's also going to challenge your own ethics, right? Your own values. And if you're gossiping about somebody doing something that you've done in any shape or form, you release a boulder of guilt right in the pit of your stomach. And, that destroys your fucking soul. It destroys what you're all about. So a lot of folk talk about people, and they talk about people doing stuff that they've done. And here's the way I see it, right? I've got quite clear things with communication. If I hear something about somebody, then I'll talk to that person about it. But if I decide that talking to that person is no kind or necessary, then I maybe just leave it. But if I feel as if it's going to be of a greater good to tell them, then I'll tell them. But I think, people are asking me about my coaching, and, because it is going really well, and I'm very pleased about that. But one of the things that's asked, I often get asked, what's your processes and what sort of stuff do you do? And I change what I do all the time. I think what happens is that I live my life through that truth, kind and necessary. And to be honest with you, when you do that, I don't gossip, so I don't listen to it any other way. And when I'm coaching people, then it's coming from that level. It's coming from that level of truth that, if you speak to me about something, then I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to make sure that it's kind, and I'm only going to tell you if it's necessary. And you hear a lot of people that want to tell other people truths, right? And knowing that it's going to destroy them. And I think until you can find a way of telling them and making it kind enough, making it necessary, then sometimes you're better not saying it. But if you say it to the person involved, then at least they've got an opportunity to get through it. But if you tell somebody else something about somebody that's not true, that's not kind, and that's not necessary, even if it is true, if it's not kind and necessary, if you've done something similar, right, that stays in there. And everybody's talking about wanting to feel good, right? When you feel light, it's when you're being truthful. It's when you feel heavy, it's when you're telling yourself a lie. And that's what I'm saying, if you gossip about somebody doing something that you've done similar, then you create this big lie inside you. And that, to me, I don't know if it's just where I am in life, the price ticket's too big on that. So, yeah, my wee message today is on gossip, right? And I don't, I can remember once actually I was doing a wee workshop, I was helping somebody out and they asked me to do a wee bit of talking. And somebody said in the group, how do you handle people gossiping about you and talking shit? And I went, to be honest with you, I don't really hear that sort of stuff. And the person went, oh, well, they do gossip about you. And I just kind of laughed. And it's like, you don't hear it when you're not round about it. But I'll be honest with you, for anybody that does it, the only loser out of this becomes yourself. Because you cannot hide from your own truth. And if you're bringing anybody down, and you see it in similar businesses, and, if you're doing all of that, then the bit's going to come out of you. If you're fucking talking shit, and you see a lot in the fitness industry, you see a lot in all the car trade, I've seen it, you see it everywhere. It's like, if you're gossiping about people and about stuff that nobody's whiter than white. So I would be always careful with what you're putting out there, because if you're speaking stuff that's not true, no kind, and no necessary, then there's a good chance if you've done anything remotely similar to that gossip's going to end up a pain in your body. And that's what I'm saying. I think that's just too big a price to pay. So anyway, listen, my wee message of today is on gossiping. If there's something you've got to say, speak to the person involved, man. Do it from a kind place. Make sure it's necessary. Tell them the fucking truth. But sharing it with everybody else, I'll just destroy you inside, because, that's something that just doesn't feel nice. So that was my wee message today. I was coming to a couple of focus, just some things I was doing coaching, and I just noticed how much it destroys people, not having a fucking conversation with a person that can actually handle it. And that's one thing I'm very proud of. Like, if I've got anything to say, I'm either saying it to the person that's involved, or I'm not saying it at all. And I like that. And I tell you what, I feel fucking lighter. I feel better. So if you want to find out how to feel better, then that's what to do. Start talking to the people that can do shit about it. And then you'll feel better about yourself. You'll feel really, really good, because you're being truthful, your values are intact. But you go shooting your mouth off to people, and that you maybe don't even know if there's enough truth in it, then it's really going to hurt you internally. And as I say, that's too big a price for me to pay. But anyway, listen, I hope this message hits the spot. And as I said, it just came to my mind this, so I thought I would share it. So enjoy. And seminars on Saturdays, fast approaching. I think there's less than 10 tickets. So if you're interested, get on board, www.hiddendipscoaching.com. And I think 1 5-day workshop tickets become available. Somebody that was thought they could go, can't make it now because of holidays. So I'll put that back on the site, and if you want to grab that ticket, it'll be yours. And the kids seminar is the 28th of July, so if you're interested in that for your kid, it will be a lot more tamer, and I'll no swear, promise. So again, you can get it on my website. Alright, thanks, bye bye.